Hello, hello. I had to go do something real quick, but we are here playing the Great Ace Attorney. The word. I can English. Me. Sholmes better give us something, or else I'm gonna punch him. I'm gonna beat him up. I did not condone, I did not condone violence, not unless it's Herlock Sholmes. That's the only... Actually, no, as a joke, this is a joke, please do not, like, enact violence on anyone, please. Please don't. That does not solve problems. That does not help with anything. The words. Me and the gang, me and all the plushies, and Trip, and Hugo. I need to... I just need to do a few more things because I got a bit distracted. And then we can... We can... Ah, frick. We can do stuff. We'll continue on with the case, because I think we were going to talk to Sholmes. Or we're trying to find the man. But he's gone. Back to the link. I need a link. Where's my freaking... Oh my god. Nope. Shut. That... Jesus Christ, that scared me. Just like heard someone start talking. Oh, it's echoing. I don't know what to do. Ah! Why am I getting a call? What the heck? I'm about to find where? Whack. Okay, let's... God, we need some different music. Where's Gina at? Load game. Or return to the stage. Yay, Gina! My favorite character. I need a slight refresher. So we talked to everyone here at the... We gotta go to Madame Test Spells. We need to find Sholmes and fight him. Armband. Newspaper. Sketch. Piece of cloth from something. Crossbow and... Just a freaking crossbow. Yeah, that's normal. That's a no, that's a no. That poor Professor Bunny Brain. We will save you, Albert. But first, we must figure out the backstory of your college friend, Beric von Zieks, in order to help you out. This is where Hurley is. I'd love to know what he's up to, wouldn't you? Museum of Interesting Waxwork exhibits not far from Baker Street. It's become a very popular London attraction in recent years. Let's go look straight into it. Museum of Waxworks. Holy frick. What is this place? It's waxworks stuff, I think my mom would do. Very lifelike. Look at all these terrifying scenes! But why are all the people so still? Guillotines? Ruthless murderers. I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight. They're all wax models. They're amazingly realistic, aren't they? What do you think, Bruno? Shocked? Wax models? I read about dead bodies in wax once, in a magazine about strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn to wax, apparently. It's called adipocry. What? I don't know if I think I said that right. I don't know. Stop talking about creepy things like that, Bruno. You're scaring me. Anyway, adipocry doesn't form readily. Oh. Wait. No, let me hear what she has to say. Doesn't form readily, you know. It's only in very specific... What now? I've just remembered something else I read. In another magazine about strange phenomena. He reads too many... Oh dear God, if like... conspiracy theorist here. There was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used to pour molten wax over corpses and put them on display. None of the exhibits here are real. They're all entirely man-made replicas. They can't be. Do you really expect me to believe that? Just look at them. Oh. There's no way anybody could make models of people that are this realistic. It's crazy what you can do with wax. There's nothing going on here. And they're all such gruesome scenes. Wait. What is it? Oh. No. I must be seeing things. What the fudge is that? I'm just gonna ignore the hand real quick. It's fine. It's good. We're fine. Let's see what this is about. Is this some infamous murderer? Yes, called Jane the Ripper. All her victims were young women. I knew it. You can't tell. You can tell by the way she's holding that knife. Sure sign of a murderer. Well, yes. What's the matter, Runo? I've worked it out. I know what she's doing. She's trying to fill that bathtub with blood so she can have a soak in her victim's gore. Not according to the information about the exhibit on the little board here. It doesn't mention anything about the bathtub. Really? Sorry, I don't think it's significant. I still think it has to be there for a reason. And what does it... Just gonna ignore that. These models are so well made, I can't tell what's waxwork and what's a real human. Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time and all the visitors have gone home, they suddenly start moving about. Just thinking about it makes you wish it was closing time already and I was on my way home. Man, these things are so lifelike, it's crazy. Is this example of Western Hisagiri? I don't know what that is. You know, when unscrupulous samurai randomly attacks a passerby to test his sword. I still don't know. No. But actually, a waxwork samurai would probably be hugely popular. Could you model it, do you think, Bruno? Doing that Tajiri thing you mentioned? Well, I do have a sword, but I have no intention of testing how sharp it is on a human subject. For now, at least. I crave violence, don't we all? Especially when this Sherlock, but he's not here. It's so disappointing, man. Like, it's the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Oh wait, no, there he is. It's a wax statue. At least it's wax statue. Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here. Really? He is the great detective. Well, he is world famous up. Yeah, there we go. Why is there a Why is there a femboy in the 17th century London? 'Cause why not? Let the man be who he wants to be. Well, he is world famous after all. It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? It makes my skin crawl to look at it. I know! But look, Bruno, you can kick this Hurley and he doesn't move a muscle. You can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris. Wait. He just kneels over. When my brother and I were playing this, Sherlock Holmes is a fanboy confirmed. Holy frick. When my brother and I played this before, when Iris says you can kick this Hurley, my brother thought she said, oh, you can just kick him in the Hurley. I don't know where she kicked him, but as someone who read the Sherlock Holmes books, I can confirm this is something he would do. I'm so glad. Just the way he kneels over. Oi! It just moved, I'm sure, but not just a little bit either. Really? Did it? Sholmes, no, I cannot make that joke. No, I am not making that joke. I really want to make that joke, but I'm not. And look closely. There are beads of sweat on the face of this waxwork model. Very strange waxwork model. They gave him a kimono. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look. There's a great murder scene to enjoy, much more appealing.
Hold it!
Oh. My dear fellow, I take exception to your recoiling in such a manner, as if you've seen something truly abhorrent. Sir, you're on stage just posing up. The femboy. Cough, cough. Mr. Sholmes, I knew it. Iris, what possessed you? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruhodo. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And that kick, could you not have exercised a little more restraint? You winded me. Yeah, she definitely kicked him in the hurley. But Bruno has something he needs to ask you. Ah, a question. And I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are. Well, I can't deny that your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes more being stationary like that, and my great brain upon which all my success has been built would have turned to wax. Thank goodness we arrived in time. ADHD. Question, I'm here to beat you up. I'm beating you up for answers, Sholmes. I'm taking whatever money you have left. And I'm going back to freaking Japan. Indeed, in many ways, the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss. My ADHD was about to kick in and I didn't take my meds. Like... Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, don't you? You could know something, it's true, about Lord Von Zeeks and what happened in the past to change him. Now that you're here, let's take our time. How can I be of assistance? For you're in luck. I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing. Oh, well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot within the walls of this very museum. A most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really? Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it is related to the matter about which you've come to me now. But how could it be? We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow, but for now, I must return to my work. What? Back to being a temporary waxwork exhibit? Oh wait, hold on, I need yo, holy frick. Oh, that's a funny place for a little ladder. What is it? Is something wrong? No, it's just that in Japanese, we have a totally different word for a ladder that folds in half like that. We do in English too, you know. It's a step ladder, or just steps. So be careful of making assumptions about other cultures, you know. That's how wars are started. I didn't realize step ladders were an international point of contention, but the writer makes an astute point. It's a frickin' stepladder. Yo, look at that. Is this an arm? It looks like an arm, doesn't it? Maybe one of the waxwork models has fallen over. You don't think it could be the work of one of the mass murderers in here, do you? Bruno, stop scaring me! Is it a wax arm or a real one? Come on, you're always pointing that finger of yours in court. Poke that arm now and see how it feels. Objection! I object to that. I'm not touching a freaking arm that may or may not be wax. Also, I realized my freaking PNG thing ain't working. What? There we go. Boom. That big heavy curtain is in a very prominent position, isn't it? I have a nasty feeling there's going to be something truly terrifying behind it. Oh yes, that's the famous Test Spells special exhibit. It depicts one of England's most notorious killers. Do you want to pay the extra fee and have a look? Pay more money to be even more terrified. Oh, let me think about that for a moment. It was only a suggestion. These models are so well made, I can't tell what's a waxwork and what's a real human. That's how Hurley gets away with making himself a temporary exhibit for the day. Maybe there are other people posing as exhibits in here then. Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time, okay. So they just added a little bit of like just Herlock, freaking, yeah, doing this. Sir, I have question. Actually, I don't know if you know what. Converse, let's just talk. What is this place? Madame Tuspels came to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. Since she opened this little waxwork museum last year, it's enjoyed great popularity in London. There are museums like this in Japan too, but these displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual real people, are they? The extreme realism of these waxwork models is a particular secret of the Tuspels family, they say. They earned renown during the French Revolution for waxworks of victims of the guillotine. That sounds grim. The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the condemned. Apparently, the sculptors would make the models directly from the corpses, right there at the site of the executions. That really turns my stomach. That's just one of several legends about the Tuspels family. Whether there's any truth in it, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. Nevertheless, the most popular area of the museum by quite some margin is this House of Horrors. House of Horrors. Of course, visitor numbers are dwindling now as a result of the Great Exhibition. But people usually flock here to see the exhibits of some of London's most vile criminals at their gruesome work. Naturally, most of the miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows. So they're even stiffer now than the models of them. Have you heard of poor taste? My dear fellow, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked. So the hideous exhibits in here are... They're all portrayals of real events that actually took place. Is it just me, or did the temperature in here just seem to drop? Anyway, I advise you not to think too deeply about what you see here. Oh, he's back to being a waxwork, is he? He's ready to beat me up now, so I'm a bit scared. What do you mean by a temporary waxwork, Mr. Sholmes? Exactly what you see. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act. Catching them. Every half an hour, I home in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare him. When members of the public come for a closer look, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I'll happily allow them to take a photograph with us. Us? Does he mean him and the waxwork murderers in here? But why, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For the money! He really roared at me there. Very fitting for the House of Horrors. As it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent and have the ravenous iris to consider. Your child. I feel like this is like a setup or something. I don't know. Oh, Hurley, I'm so hungry. If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your bit, Mr. Naruhodo. What's he threatening to rope me in now? So, with that in mind, how about a photograph? As a special treat, you may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours. Maybe some other time. Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your peril. Oh, don't worry. Wait, what? Back to being a waxwork again. Is it just me, or did his final remark there sound a lot like a curse? Little bit. Well, what is it you'd like to ask me then? Actually, it's about Lord Von Zeeks. Ah, our friend Mr. Reaper. How'd you find him? Well, I trust. And so I filled Mr. Sholmes in about everything I'd learned. About Lord Von Zeeks, about Professor Hairbrain, and about the strange coincidence that they had been at the university together. So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Von Zeeks such a different person. I was sure that you'd know, Hurley. You said there was something going on here in this exhibit hall before. That something was afoot. And that you believed it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes, he suddenly clamped up. Well, it seems we've reached the unavoidable... Greetings. Hello. Where did she appear from? Holy frick, guys, it's a witch. And what's she wearing? Could she look any more mysterious? I hope you are appreciating my museum. Sorry, have we... Mr. Sholmes, do you know this? Not again! My apologies. I am Esmeralda Tuspels. This is my museum of waxwork. What? You're the Madam Tuspels. Bien sûr. Though only 26 years young, I might add. Is that significant somehow? I'm a madam in name only. It adds a certain je ne sais quoi. Right. Firstly, I must apologize for my waxworks. Or rather, one waxwork in particular. That'll be Mr. Sholmes then. I was led to believe he was a great detective. But he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, there will be toil and trouble. Oh god, she's going to boil him alive. Oh, he died! Oh god, hold on. I'm trying to like get her voice down. It's like words. Also, what the fudge? Winzip, get out of the way. She sounds deadly serious. That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Sholmes about Lord Von Zeeks now? Let's not forget what Hurley said before about something being afoot. Right here in the museum, I mean. Yes, I know, but... I'm so curious! I want to know what's happening here. Haven't we got enough on our plate already? Hello, Madam Tuspels? Did you make all these waxworks, Madam Tuspels? I did. I am the third generation of waxwork artisans, you know. Gosh! It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were wait, what? I don't know. Living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. Though that is when she acquired the savior fair that leads to astonishing lifelikeness. All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Hurley. What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of the real people on which they are modeled. In the hours immediately following their executions. That is the secret to the extraordinary lifelikeness. That sounds terrifying. All walks of life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade par excellence, one must go extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see. Why couldn't the public have wished for something else, something less horrifying? Do not fear. Sorry. This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians. Something for every taste, I hope. It was Iris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it. Sorry, perhaps I should have eased you into things. What's the situation with that? My temporary waxwork model. He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business proposal. Oh, what sort of proposal? My dear madam, what these sparse exhibits need is the addition of a famous great detective. And wins it to get the frick away from me. Or words to that effect. Naturally, I'm well aware that Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a talented detective. It's great detective, actually. He's very specific about it. Yes, the creme de la creme. So I was keen to come to some arrangement with him, of course. But sadly, we were unable to agree terms. Let me guess. Someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services. For a mere £500, I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment. Or words to that effect. Mr. Sholmes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch. Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment due to unforeseen circumstances. So we came to the current arrangement instead. Surely he doesn't really need to do what he's doing though, does he? I would think not, but he was very insistent. I have a 50-shilling problem, and that must be resolved by the morning. Or words to that effect. It's the pawnbroker, that's what it is. He must have something to redeem. Is the consulting detective work not going so well? We're supposed to be helping a guy with getting a not guilty verdict or whatever, and we're dealing with wax. I wonder, could I ask you something? Bien sûr. I'm just curious, is anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of incident, perhaps? Whoever suggested such a thing to you? Oh, well, it was your temporary waxwork over there who mentioned it to me a little... Oh, he's disappeared! A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade. There you are! Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working. Do you wish to be melted down? My dear Madame Tussfels, save your reprimands. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem we must throw into the melting pots instead. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police. Why ever not? She's turned as white as a sheet. Because you have at your disposal a great detective whose services you may employ for mere 50 shillings. Though please be aware that I prefer... No, I insist upon payment in advance. Very well. Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we? Before I engage my analytical process, I must ask you to clarify something. What, pray, is behind the curtain? That is the Tussfels special exhibit. There's an extra charge to see it. Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a special killer then, I presume. Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain, I wonder? Absolutely not! There is nothing amiss behind there. Nothing amiss, madam. What about the arm protruding ominously under the curtain? I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond before the situation worsens. Yes, very well. I will draw back the curtains, but only as soup con. I must confess, I peeked behind the curtain earlier. The Tespel's special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed. And yet, somewhat surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. What does strike one, however, is the portly gentleman lying peacefully on his back on the floor. Why, that is just a corpse! Holy frick, we got 2 dead bodies. Well then perhaps, Mr. Sholmes, that man on the floor is the ruthless killer himself. I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's a perfectly ordinary London gentleman. Not even a waxwork, in fact. What? As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they're always distinguishable from real humans. So, allow me to present my 2 conclusions. The first... Is that a sizable business transaction has been taking place in this special exhibit? Why would you say that? And the second is that the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime. She looks as pale as candle wax. I don't understand. So, Madame Tuspels, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. The game's freaking afoot, man. Waxworks, fate. To begin with, we must ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum. The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. In my estimation, some 200 pounds. That is all of my own money. So what does this large sum of money reveal? Not as much as the involuntary glance you cast, it would seem, Madame Tuspels. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by the public notice. Waxwork for sale. Your business has hit hard times, it would seem. In short, you sold the infamous killer the centerpiece of your special exhibit for the sum of 200 pounds. None! Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the 200 pounds. That's some heavy cash. It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around your little finger most effectively. What are you suggesting? He rashly agreed to purchase the waxwork for the sum of 200 pounds. Only when he came to hand the money over, did it occur to him that an extraordinary amount he was paying. But the money was no longer in his hands. And the result, the scene we see before us, he collapsed in shock. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit fetched a killer price. We can only pray that the gentleman's dreams are not plagued with regret. sold for cash. Okay, waxwork location. Okay. The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider that problem for a moment. You cannot possibly... What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his neckerchief. Such is worn by the policeman as a secret sign to fellow members of the force that a crime is being perpetrated. Yes, this young man is an undercover policeman, currently investigating this museum. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay. What are you talking about? The man's quite a celebrity. He received triple accolades at last year's policing awards. But... Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with a particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely and he hasn't moved a muscle. Almost, in fact, as if he were a waxwork. But you... Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe. The telltale sign that instantly proves that whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious price tag. I don't think I was ready for Sholmes' nonsense today. About pence. A tragically low price, you might say. They'll perhaps go in the rate for aging waxworks riddled with cracks. And yet you sold it to the portly gentleman for an exorbitant 200 pounds. The sort of plucky behavior that's sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard. Isn't that so, madam? I do not... Yes, the waxwork you sold has already been seized by the police and remains in their custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with his grave in the special exhibit and not a moment too soon. I'm just like tearing up. Discovered already. You've done it again, Sholmes. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Sholmes. Sholmes, I swear to God. She's ready! I see I've stunned you all into silence. You have, Hurley, you have. And you've obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her cauldron looks awfully hot. If I could just bring up one point, Mr. Sholmes. The notorious Narhuda 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow. According to your deduction, then the special exhibit featured this old policeman. So that would mean that he's the particularly ruthless murderer, wouldn't it? The killer policeman, Otter Mole. You're absolutely pulling my freaking leg here. I swear to God, Sholmes. Can I not just read the freaking whatever, the board or whatever to see what this is about? I don't trust what Sholmes has to say. I swear to God. I'm gonna lose it. My freaking God. What is this? What's going on? I swear to God. The killer policeman Otter Mole. Oh my God. Sorry. It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. Police rushed to the scene every time, only to find the culprit had disappeared into the aether. And it turned out the culprit was the policeman himself, a senior officer by the name of Ottermole. So you mean that's who the sinister-looking old man there is supposed to be? Indeed, it is a particularly grim face, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact. Yes, I remember that odious countenance only too well. There's 200 pounds a lot of money for a wax model. It would be enough to afford one of the latest steam carriages. That puts things in perspective. So, it is quite a lot then. Is there anything else you wish to add? Before I melt you down. That bubbling wax is looking more and more ominous. The smell of all that molten wax is starting to worry me. Mr. Sholmes did more or less just accused her to her face, so I think I might have to call on your assistant here, Iris, if that's alright, to make some minor corrections to the great detective's great deductions. Of course it's alright. We'll soon set things straight. 'Cause God knows he ain't. Well, let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Tussbells vents her anger. Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow. So, Madame Tussbells, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. Mr. Sholmes, like, saying some nonsense. Hold on. Okay. He definitely looked in this direction, it's true. But I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxworks even for 200 pounds. Oh? She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax. If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything. For that much money, I would. But it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway, I wonder if the 200 pounds could have some other significance. Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything else that could explain it. Okay. Oh. What's that note doing pinned on the wall there? Oh yes, let's see. Dear Madame Tussfels, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is £200. Have the money ready by noon on 23rd October. It's the 22nd. What? This is... It's just like the sort of thing that's left behind when someone is kidnapped. Yes, it's a ransom note. Exactly. It seems this well-dressed gentleman is alive after all, just not alive and kicking. He's not a waxwork or a model of a mass murderer. I'm not sure I'd pay £200 for him. I don't think the man's up for sale. Well, anyway, it was a silly place to put him. Other museum visitors could easily trip. I don't think the man was put there on purpose either. Waxwork for sale? Would anyone really buy models of mass murderers? I think I'd rather have £200 in my pocket. Exactly. You could buy one of those brand new types of steam carriage. That's what I'd spend it on if I had it. No question. Oh, I'd buy all the herbs in the world. There must be another explanation for the money. Need to keep looking. Well, I already figured that out. What's over here real quick? Number 139.
Take that!
The little Chinosuke just like kind of floating at there. The significance of the £200 is revealed by that ransom note. Quite so, and we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness at abducting the waxwork. £200 is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it. The model in question has special importance, so I put together all the money I have. In summary then, the £200 you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity in which we are presented. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. So if the waxwork was kidnapped, where does that leave us in terms of who this man is? We could just ask him when he comes around. I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process, Iris. Yes, you're right. Harley's trying so hard. We mustn't let him down. Well, there's little doubt that he suffered a shock. That much seems clear. But in that case, what's Madame Tussfels trying to hide? Let's have a closer look around. She also has, she has knives or something. Oh, I know, it's like chisel stuff. Never mind. What does she have? This is just Madame Tussfels' right hand, isn't it? Yes, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand after all. Oh, but wait a minute. This is the left hand as well. Look. Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please. And it seems very stiff, too. In fact, it's really hard. You mean it's made of wax? She just bonked the guy on the head or whatever. Long hair braid. Wait. Madame Tussfels has very long hair, doesn't she? Yes, but you couldn't tell looking at her from the front. You know, it looks rather like a whip, don't you think? The sort of whip that could have floored the gentleman with a single crack. That seems a little far-fetched, even for you, Bruno. Oh god. Oh, we're not supposed to see this side of the world. It's all the same. Where's the... So she was prepared to pay all the money to get her waxwork back again. It really must have been a very special model of a mass murderer. Just how special can a model of a ruthless killer be? Well, anyway, we can be fairly sure the man lying on the floor didn't take it. I suppose we should leave him in peace. Just like these guys over here just chilling as well. Alright, hand.
Take that!
What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the waxwork hand. Indeed, with a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow. How could you? The head protruded from the bottom of your cape. It ought to be a right hand, but closer inspection reveals that it isn't. That in fact it's a left hand, and somewhat masculine as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madam. It is the hand of a waxwork model. Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage. So you mean that arm? Yes, this gentleman saw fit to try to remove it as a souvenir. No small keepsake. Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to view the blossoms. I am afraid I had to teach the man a lesson. You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back. And the result? The scene what we see before us. He was knocked unconscious. A point we may need to revisit later. But for the time being, we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in the special exhibit has been kidnapped. Kidnapped. Holy frick. What has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Immediately strikes me that the sound was a young man standing over there. According to Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is a sign to other policemen that some crime is underway. A way of communicating with his colleagues without revealing his identity. Yes, it's a secret that's closely guarded by Scotland Yard that Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away. Well, uncovering secrets is in any true detective's nature, of course. Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Tustbill's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' seduction, I think perhaps we might not have identified the man quite correctly. Secret scarf sign to warn other agents of an ongoing crime. I know, it sounds so thrilling, doesn't it? Maybe I'll try to work into it in next month's installment. But then the police secret will be revealed to all of London's 6 million inhabitants. Well, they'll just have to come up with a new sign, I suppose. How does this 10-year-old manage to have such terrifying influence? Oh god. Nothing else to look at. What the? The man has a stub sticking out of his shoulder where his arm should be. Oh, well that settles that then. Right, this isn't a real person at all. His entire arm's been ripped off from the shoulder down. His arm's been... Of course, that ties in with what we just found out.
Take that!
Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only to observe his shoulder stub. No such boneless humans walks this earth. Of that I can assure you. In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact defying all odds a waxwork model. I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Mr. Sholmes. He has become quite a celebrity in London, being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year. I simply had to make a model of the man. Naturally, what other explanation could there be? And it was this detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the special exhibit, wasn't it? Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with particularly unsightly visage. And watching closely as he moved a muscle. A killer policeman called Ottermole, was it? Was he well known? It was all over the papers last year, but I can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price though. Threepence isn't much money. Only enough for a few measly hours of gas in Mr. Garridub's delightful lodgings, in fact. Yeah, rip that place. We definitely just like took it down. So this is the special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? The waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for £200. Is this crusty old killer policeman Ottermole really? Perhaps we should have a good look around again and see if another idea crops up. I can't... Oh, there we go. Holy frick, Twitch! I'm so cringe, I swear to God. What do you... Bow, 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 bow. I don't believe it. It's a secret sign that lets other detectives know some criminal activity is underway. Yes, it's a slightly strange choice of outfit if he was trying to go unnoticed. He must be a detective disguised as a policeman. Or a detective disguised as a waxwork model of a policeman. He doesn't look like he's clever enough to think of something like that, though. Perhaps you should try to be a little more polite about him, Iris. 3 pence. It's a far cry from £200, isn't it? For 3 pence, you could buy it and put it on display in your room, Bruno. I think I'd rather not go to sleep being watched by an old man, if it's all the same to you. This price tag does stand out, doesn't it? I mean, you couldn't even buy the helmet on his head for that much money, I don't think. I wonder what the price tag's really for, then. For the scarf? Look at this! The old man's tapping his foot like crazy! This entire time we're dancing around these waxworks and then there's this guy. He seems to be fast asleep, though. He's not tapping his foot consciously, then. So you mean... it must be a twitch! Never mind that, the point is, waxworks don't tap their feet. Or twitch! And look at his arm, too. We've seen a scarf like that somewhere else around here, haven't we?
Take that!
He's freaking twitching! He's twitched! A telltale sign that instantly proves of whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious twitch. Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit twitch. In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of Scotland Yard. Slight shift in your choice of adjectives, then. And there you have it. Well, Madam Tussfells? Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in the first place. He is clearly fatigued. He is sound asleep. But then, what's this tag about showing a price of 3 pence? No doubt the price tag of the muffler, which the old Bobby purchased recently at a local market. And I presume you observed the scarf tied around his arm. Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway. Of course, because, as you know, there has been just such a criminal activity happening here. And as you deduced from the very beginning, Detective. So it would seem that we finally arrive at the truth. The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped. And Scotland Yard are already investigating. But the model's whereabouts remain a mystery. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Still a mystery. It really has not been solved, though. We don't know where it went. All sorts of people visit my museum here. Men and women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in just for a short time on their way back from the pub. I welcome them all. If anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway. Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I'd been led to believe. It was a pleasure, my dear madam. I'm gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as for your rough customer, I've no doubt he'll regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display. If it was indeed genuinely abducted. Yes, tragically, it was. Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork, in as much detail as possible, if you please. Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work. The talents of a great detective could be put to better use, I feel. As you wish. Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please. It was some days ago now, when I came in here one morning. I merely noticed that waxwork was missing from the special exhibit here. It is your most prominent display, so that's why the curtains were closed. And I found the ransom note in its place. The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then. So this waxwork that was stolen It was the model of some horrible criminal, I suppose. Of a particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any other, I would say. The Professor. Oh my god. Not a name I've heard of. So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle is complete. Sorry. The Professor case happened at around the time I was born, didn't it? Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocketed the capital. 10 years ago? Yes, at exactly the time that Barrack von Zeeks graduated from university, in fact. What? Surely he's not saying... So the big event that changed Mr. Reaper's life? As you've surmised, it was the Professor case. Who was this Professor then? It was a series of gruesome murders that all of London gripped in terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death. And now he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present on account of the abduction. But I don't understand. How is all this related to Lord Von Zeeks? You must first understand, my dear fellow, why is it that the Professor earned such infamy? It was due to the victims he chose, some of the Whitehall's finest. What do you mean, Hurley? Those murdered by the Professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy. Words. Some of the nobility, even royalty, it sent shockwaves through the country's administration. Members of the... wait! Oh, of course! What Professor Harebrained said! Lord Von Zeeks is from a family with noble blood! Oh gosh! It was the 5th victim that led to the Professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of... Clint Von Zeeks. No! I don't believe it! Von Zeeks? I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Barrack pursued a career as a prosecutor, and eventually became the Reaper we know today. I had no idea Lord Von Zeeks had such a tragic past. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter, for the time being at least. After all, I have work to do. As a waxwork exhibit. I am afraid I shall have to excuse myself as well. Oh yes, of course, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. Oh. Oh my god. Holy frick, they're in the same room. It's been too long, it really has. I'm delighted to see you, Barrack. It has been 10 years. Or, it's been 10 years. And here we are, meeting in a prison of all places. Crazy how things work out. I can't forgive myself what happened to Mr. Asmund. I just can't. I still can't believe it could happen. Tomorrow, the court will decide. Yes, I have a young Eastern man acting for my defense. He seems reliable enough, though. It was an accident. A terrible accident. He assured me he can prove it. Must warn you. Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're going to be prosecuting, aren't you? Yes. Since I returned to England, I've heard lots of stories. Varric, are you really? What? Never mind. I know that you have my best interests at heart. My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else. I'm gonna cry! Their friendship makes me sick! Of course, I fully understand. Thank you, Varric. Their friendship makes me so sick, I love them! Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court. Their friendship makes me sick. I'm gonna throw up. Dear God. Oh, god dang it. I'll look back at that when okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Their friendship makes me sick. Haven't seen the guy in like 10 years. And you still care about the, like... That level of trust and like friendship is amazing. Okay. Hi Albert. I need to read what the heck Runa was saying. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. Now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo! Good morning, Professor Hairbrain. I don't understand! It doesn't make any sense! The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts! I've never felt anything like it! It's crushing me! Welcome to the court. Or welcome to the courthouse, man. It does that to ya. Pressure in here is like going under the water. I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? I think it's probably all in the mind. Also, it does kind of look like he has eyelashes. Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life! To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public! Oh, don't worry. We are absolutely cooked. You guys are the same freaking age, you kidding me? Like, this is... It's crazy. Also, mystery man, mystery man, mystery man. Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here. That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him. Are you... Herlock Sholmes? Indeed, sir. I am he. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany. Yes, Rant's magazine is on sale in Germany too. This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the Adventures of Silver Blaze was wonderful. Yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned the snake, I seem to recall. No, that was the speckled band. Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Oh, I have urgent business at Madame Tussbell's. You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged in my services. So you're trying to get the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depends on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley. Quite, Iris, quite. Life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Harebrain. Oh, why, thank you. Before I depart, Mr. Naruto, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it has. I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Bruno, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically. So he's completely barking up the wrong tree. But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding, in fact, succeed? That's contradictory. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I have no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow. See you later, Hurley. She's gonna be with us. Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up, you can do it. Oh, what about you, Iris? No, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do. I see. It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is. That sounds ominous. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. We're on our way. We're so cooked, chat. We're cooked. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And the scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. Oh god, hold on. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here sitting today for public trial of Professor Albert Harebrain. And now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice. What's more, I am without Susato-san today. Is it just my imagination? Or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. O.D. Asman. Mr. Asman was well known as a financer, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks, but the jury unanimously found him not guilty, because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on 21st October, Mr. Asman meant his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty? I am most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord. To have emancipate in the palms of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials, all are nothing more than performances. You look like you're related to someone. An usurper scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang. We have to listen to what's said on both sides, defense, and then sense on one. That's it, isn't it? Why the frick is there a child? Hey! Wasn't this like in my day? Wasn't like this at all. That's the police killer Automo lookalike. Again. He's as exhausted as ever, it seems. Now, as I'm sure you are all aware. Hold on, I need to. Why is there a child? What? I'm sure you are all aware. The incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. The tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all in London, the whole world beyond this trial, is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zieks. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of the science's latest developments, I take it? The government is keen to capitalize on the great exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Good lord! It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled. Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure. Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking! The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field. I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock. So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible. Now, ban. Any bots I see get banned. Ain't one of them. We don't want those. We don't want bots. Other than Nightbot and what is the other one I have? Stream Elements. Those are the only bots. What is the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. You're freaking crazy. What? What rot? Order, order! The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant will be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on this new hypothesis to take Mr. Atman's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But... This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth the witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand. Hey Gregson, hey Albert. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division, was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation. Albert Harebrain, locking in. Albert Harebrain, scientist. You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. After graduating from a university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the great exhibition. What you demonstrated was incredible, alright? An incredible explosion. But the science was a success! The instantaneous kinesis worked! Everyone saw it, they must have done! Yes, there was the terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success. Well, that much is undeniable. as shown as this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. Centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it. I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence. As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Asman. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to surmise the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly. But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right, that must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine! You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What? The wreckage? The wreckage? Albert's crashing out. But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry, me? No, your neighbor. Yes, sir, it was murder, plain and simple, and one could state that with a complete certainty. What? How can he possibly think that? Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claimed this experiment to have been a front for murder. The corpse that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection. That's all. That was my mistake. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury. Fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere. And this fellow's the only one who could have done it. An extraordinary business. The judge is flabbergasted. How would he have... How? In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart. Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says the death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. No kidding. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. No, that couldn't be further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stood himself inside of something called the bird cage, ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the Crystal Tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis results in the birdcage materializing in mid-air. from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower's large round window. My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen! The machine was just too powerful! But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident. Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like to like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, Consul. Okay. He's so... Albert, I'm so sorry. I was there in person, you know. Saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person at the stage with Mr. Aspen was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist. Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him. Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. Actually, like, lock the frick in. Give me that autopsy. I need to look. This glass, that's where he got stabbed. Autopsy report, coroner Courtney Scythe. Details of victim, O.D. Aspen. Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observation, a broken vertebrae, most likely resulting from impact after sun fall from considerable height. Are you suggesting that that's because he fell from a considerable height? Exactly. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business. What's that? The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success. After the explosion, the cage with the fellow inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in midair. So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur. Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster?
Hold it!
So the angle projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally? Absolutely! The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out. Only you got it wrong, didn't you? Yes, that's right, that's the point! The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake. My god. Wait, what's the funny character animation? Gregson, can you stop chomping down your freaking chips? I swear you're gonna get a heart attack. Incorrectly pursue harebrained? Oh god, okay. Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it. Took into account the subjects. Height and weight, the wind direction, ambience, and temperature. Ambient temperature. I consider every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Aspen was wearing at the time, I suppose. Crackling comments! The answer should have been 3! Holy frick. So much for safety first. The 3 must be for safety third. Incorrectly pursue hairprint. Hold on. Okay.
Hold it!
Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense. Didn't think I had to spell this out, but here we go.
Excuse me.
Professor Harebrain, are you hiding something from the court? He's writing stuff down. It's 4. What the? All those one. Oh my. So how many people is that just eat freaking stuff? There's Phoenix, there's Eddie, there's Albert, like, I'm not talking about just food like high cholesterol man to the freaking right of us. Why did you... Albert. God. What was that? I was calculating the neutralization of coefficient of electrical charge required for electrolysis of a human subject. Had to keep the results a secret at all costs, you see. That's why I ate the paper I did my working on. But now I've completely forgotten the number. Dear me, I'm a scatterbrain sometimes. Well, moments before you ate the paper, you did yell at the number 4. No, you know it! You know my secret coefficient! Oh dear, oh no, this is bad. Oh my goodness. Perhaps you could just focus on the testimony? That's actually hilarious. I love that. He eats it so his secrets don't go out, while, what is it, Eddie just eats it so he retains knowledge. Fatal wound.
Hold it!
Have y'all... The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere? Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver. Wouldn't it count? There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! Holy frick, Andrew. Andrew, of course. Do you know Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. God help this man. He's lost his marbles. Andrew's my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead. Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. That isn't... It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt. That's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wounds. What? What? Andrew, why did you stab someone? The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence. So one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. How would... Oh god, my throat. What grounds do you have for saying that? Ha! Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Odiatman, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. Furthermore, following the explosion in Kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it. Great Scott! Holy frick, I think I figured it out. Maybe, I don't know. I think all his brains up there is just fluff, I think.
Excuse me.
Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! Sorry. I was just calculating the optimal coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Yes, that's right, of course! He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh? I don't know! But there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say. Eh? Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins. I had heard. Then surely you see, if I punched something the size of Andrew to the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath, and no, a blood swimming pool. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet none of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood. Well, no, I suppose not. You see? Not one! True, I didn't see anything like that. Is it just mixing stuff, bro? Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop of my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends adducing. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Beric. If I'm really not a patron... Their friendship sickens me. And then it's quickly stuffed out. No, you're not. No, his happy face of no. You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have. A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Of course. Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir. Where are they going with this? Very well, you will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. This is blood. Mr. Asmund's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. It really do be a problem, huh? I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine. Which could be important information, so I should definitely make note of it. Metal screwdriver that was found poking through the grill of the base. We no longer have the information of Andrew. That was important information, trust. This freaking crossbow crossbow? What? Crossbow? Crossbow, I swear to God.
Objection!
Go, my Andrew. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. Went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Now you come to mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for the Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. It was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing. Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight, on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine... then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. That's right, it should have been beamed across the crystal tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. Frick you, man. How do you explain this, Inspector? I don't. It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved him with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest, then instantaneous kinesis occurred. Obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in this argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Von Zeeks is stumped.
Hold it!
Oh! Do you have something to say, witness? That was a very loud hold it. Jesus Christ. Yes, I knew it. It bears out. Equations hold. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry! About what? Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. What? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved, and Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should bear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation. You're just buttering him up! Shut the frick up! Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists. The bane of my existence. Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold. In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord. Holy frick, Apollo Justice mentioned. Hide the stars above. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Husband was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. So the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, it subsequently discovered on the stage despite the victim being found elsewhere is not an inconsistency. And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer. My great hypothesis holds, you see. Yeah, as you being a murderer. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason. I was not addressing you, witness. Professor Hairbrain. Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell. Let's make it a lot harder. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend. Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo. Albert, you're killing me here. More so than what you did to Asmon. We can't. Okay. Oh god.
Hold it!
And yet, your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way. No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem. But you realize that disapproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you? No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know? Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. The scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. How? So Lord Von Zieks really did have a friend once, but I didn't know his heck freezing over. What the fuck? How does he replicate your name? Y'all were friends in like whatever college for however long. Like, it seems like they've known each other for a lot longer than in the time of college. But I guess, like, they really had, like, a good friendship. And still do, after 10 years. My hypothesis states the kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. This guy is killing me. Wait, I just... Albert. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. Albert. Oh wait, no, I need this.
Objection!
Professor Hairbrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No, metal can't. That's not. Metal? No! We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place. My hypothesis! My hypothesis! Professor Hairbrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Hansel, what is the implication of this? If on the day in question the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage, and in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work. If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, turn number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science. What? Wait, great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect? It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from the start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel of a bounder and a fraud. I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined. No, never. That machine's the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? We have to raise an objection.
Objection!
Professor Hairbrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed that man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed. Conspirators? What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds. You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year. Oh, wow! You could live handsome on that much for years. The Society's noted an increase in bogus public demonstration in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you. No, I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all, the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower, which means that the experiment was a success. Barrick, and therefore, the only person who could have possibly have committed this murder is the accused. Barrick. Where is this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Von Zeeks? The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well, the court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no whatever. The accused killed the financer victim there on the public stage, before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. And this is, I'll have to cut the stream off here. I'm gonna end the stream here. Save progress. Here. And let me get out of here. No, get me out! Albert, I'm so freaking sorry, dude. Back to title. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'll try the stream later. I'm so inconsistent with streaming. I might stream later tonight. Maybe. We'll have to see. At least like to finish the rest of this trial and maybe a bit of investigating work. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I shall see y'all next time for whenever I do this. See ya!